What's up, 31 fam? How you doing? Welcome back to Horror Hangout, man. Got a special guest in the house today, hanging out with Danny K. He's got his own channel, Danny K Reviews. Is it Danny K Reviews or movie reviews? It's just reviews, right?
Danny K Reviews, yep.
That's what I thought. Okay, man, I'm glad I remembered that correctly. Anyhow, Instagram, YouTube. You have Letterboxd too?
Yeah, I'm new to Letterboxd. I'm on there.
We'll put links in the description for you guys if you're interested at the end of the show. But we got a couple of episodes of Horror Hangout we're going to film, talk to you guys. One will probably be a little quicker than the other, but we're going to talk about the first movie we checked out together is was it from 1978? See, this is what I should write shit down, man.
It's in the 70s. I forget.
Yeah, whatever. It's a 1970s B movie horror like slasher flick called Driller Killer, and it actually came up because Danny had gotten his first subscription to
Horror Pack,
and I guess it's like a gift to the new subscribers. They shot him a Driller Killer Steelbook, and I was like, yo, that movie's rad. And he was like, cool, I'm gonna watch it then. And I was like, yeah, dude, if you want to sell that Steelbook, let me know. And he's like, no, I clicked these. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then he was like, yo, you can have this junk, bro.
Well, I figured, you'll get way more enjoyment out of it than me, and it'll just sit on my shelf, and you deserve it, especially because you're more into this than I am, and you've been with Horror Pack so long. I'm like,
dude, I've had a Horror Pack for a long time now. I genuinely like Driller Killer. Like, I don't expect most of my friends to like watch it and really like it like I do, but I always want people to watch movies like that so that I can ask them, okay, well, what'd you think about it and why? So I'll give you a quick synopsis of the film, folks. Driller Killer is about a guy. He's like an artist. He's struggling. Man, I watched it like right when we started talking about it, so I can't remember all the small details. But it's an artist that's struggling, and he's trying to get this like painting going on. And he's got this apartment building. I believe they're in New York. And this band moves in like below him.
The Roosters.
And, yeah, the Roosters, dude. Is it Johnny Coca-Cola or some shit? And the Roosters. And they're playing music like all the time, and it's driving this poor bastard crazy. And he finally flips out and loses it, and takes a power drill and just starts drilling the shit out of people. And you got Driller Killer. It's not complicated. It's super predictable even. It's not the worst movie in the world, but it's certainly far from the best. It's man. So Danny, I want to know your opinion on this because you were quick to not really care about that Blu-ray.
Yeah, I didn't love this movie. Honestly, I found it a bit boring and hard to get through. And even when it was going through the killings were kind of boring because it's just a dude drilling holes in people. So it wasn't that creative to me. And it wasn't that short. I think it's only like an hour and a half, if that. But it just, to me, it felt longer. But I'm kind of curious as to why you like this movie, and also, like, how many times have you seen it?
I've seen it probably. Sorry, I had to let the dog out. I started growling. So I've seen the movie probably 3 times at this point.
Okay.
Not a lot. I've seen it a few times, but I do like it. So okay, I'll tell you real quick why I like it. It's pretty simple why I like this movie. I like horror movies by a wide margin more than any other genre of film, and I like a lot of movies. Movies, you know this, movies are like what I love. Movies and music and comics and pop culture and all this stuff. That's what I really love. And I've been watching movies since I was a little kid with my dad, so it's something that I just had this like fond memory of watching these old garbage ass movies, dude. And to me, it's not about how well was it filmed and how good was the score and how was the acting and yada yada fucking boring up snooty ass nose shit. Like I don't care about that, man. Like it doesn't matter to it. I like those movies as well. Like Parasite is one I always use as an example. It's a fantastic movie. It's on the other end of the spectrum for me. I like things from all ends. It doesn't have to be this way or this way. I want it. I'll take all of it. And so what I like about this movie is that I don't look at it as horror movies and scary movies aren't necessarily the same thing. All horror movies don't have to be scary. As a matter of fact, I would go as far as to say most horror movies are not scary.
True.
Dude, like realistic thrillers are almost always scarier than a horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so silly, dude. Like, come on, Killer Driller, bro. Like, that's scaring somebody. Come on, dude. I look at it as like a black comedy.
Well, you look at the cover of this movie, and you think it's gonna be like this non-stop crazy kill fest, but it's actually not that at all. Like, Unlike
it's like a spiral
Terrifier.
blend of crazy for this guy.
Yeah, I've actually found it was kind of slow, but one thing I thought interesting was, what's the director's name? Abel
I
Ferreira.
don't know.
Well, anyways,
that's where I suck at this stuff. I don't know anything about that.
I was doing a little digging, and he plays himself in this movie.
Oh, really?
The director. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I don't know if you've seen any of his other movies. Maybe you don't know but anyways, he had a movie come out in 2020. Not to stray away from this movie.
No, you're fine.
It's called Siberia with William Dafoe. So I was wondering if you've seen that.
No, but I like Willem Dafoe a lot, so I'd check that out just based on.
Yeah, maybe we should both check it out, because I do want to check out some more of his movies, because a lot of them look pretty interesting. But so I did write down a couple things I liked about this movie. Like, for one, there was this cool lesbo scene in the shower. I thought that was pretty cool.
I mean, yes, that is pretty cool.
Yeah, so there you go. And also, if you want to, I don't know how deep this movie is, but so he's afraid he's going to get kicked out of his apartment because he can't pay rent. And that's part of what's driving him insane, that and this punk band plan. And I figured, as he's killing all these homeless people, maybe in a way, those homeless people represent what he might become if he don't make any money. So maybe in a way, he's killing himself, or what he could
I'd be willing to bet if you asked the director, he would go, "No, just had him killing homeless people."
Yeah.
Well, like, the horror community is split into two. There's half the community does things like what you're saying. They think about the movie and they analyze it and they go, I wonder if this is what it means. And I'm not talking shit on either end of this. This is just how the community kind of splits. And then you have people like me. I never think of stuff like that. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I don't mind talking about it. If you bring it up, I'm interested in it. But I don't think that my brain doesn't go that direction. I'm just like, oh, that was a fun movie, and then I move on. I don't like Josh and me. This is where we start to part ways on our movie viewing thing. Is that he likes to dive into stuff real deep and get into the directors and their other films. I don't even know the directors of most of the movies I watch. I don't care. I don't know the actors' names. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Most of the time. On the next movie we're going to talk about, that's a whole different story. I love that movie, and I know a lot about it. But with this one, actually, my favorite part of this movie was the music. The punk band was amazing. I love that band. They were so good.
That's what I was going to ask you next. I got it written down here. Did you like the band, the Roosters? And what did you think about their music?
Oh,
because didn't you used to be in a band?
Yeah.
And I was in a couple of bands.
Punk bands.
Okay, so I was wondering how this music was. And
dude, I was looking for a copy of this on like vinyl for a long time, but the band was not a real band, so they never released the music. Which is it's a shame, because for punk bands, that's pretty good stuff, man. I liked it. Like, it's old school punk stuff, but like, you know, there's a lot more polished now. You get punk stuff sounds like Blink-182. I don't consider that punk at all. But I like the band. But I mean, again, I completely understand, and I do not take it personally when people don't like it. I go, oh yeah, you know, it's not for everybody. I'm well aware of the fact that I'm of the 1% of people that feel, act, and dress and talk and live like I live. I've been this way my whole life. I've liked that kind of music since a little kid. I think it's more of a lifestyle and attitude more so than even like the sonic sounds that you get from the music. Like, I'm thinking like, no, man, it's a middle finger up and living how you want and doing things that you want to do. Like, why do I gotta go to a job and clock in every day? Fuck that. So I just don't. And then, you know, I make it work. But movies. I thought the movie was good, man. It is slow, very slow actually. But you have to kind of know a history of horror and what this stuff was and what it was for to understand kind of why you saw the cover, thought one thing, and then got something different. When this movie was made, all they cared about was cashing a check. They didn't care about the quality of the movie. They said get a cover, get a name. First, you want a name that's like striking. Mm-hmm. You want a cover that's going to drive people into the theaters and put butts in seats. We don't care. Once the ticket's paid for, we're good. That's what these executives would think. So this is why you had all these B-movie companies pop up, because then they would have directors that really wanted to make film. So the guy that directed it was probably the one guy that loved it the most, because he wanted to make a movie. And even he sometimes may not care. He just wanted to make a movie. But a lot of times it was the guy that wanted to make a movie was hooked up with people that just wanted to make some money. Here's what we're going to give you. Take it or leave it. All right, I'll take it. He's only got so much money, so much of a budget, but he does the best he can. And then the big companies, they make this crazy poster art and they put it up in the theater, and then kids come in there and buy it. And think about it, in the 70s, this movie was probably a lot more crazy than it is now. I mean, nowadays you look at stuff like Terrifier, and you go, oh my goodness, I can't believe Driller Killer even got any love because of movies like this. If you want horror, this is where you're going. But yeah, dude, this movie was 45 years ago.
Well, so I don't know if you know of any of the controversies with this movie, but when a bunch of movies like this were getting pulled off the shelves because they were too graphic or whatever, this was one of those movies that got pulled. I don't know if you knew about that.
Yeah, I heard about that. I never really understood why. I think a lot of it stuff like that happened when they didn't even watch the movie. They just saw it and went, oh, Driller Killer, that's one.
I think it was the cover of the movie. You got this dude drilled in the head, and it makes this movie look like a lot more rough than it would be.
Yeah, I would let my kids watch this. It wouldn't bother me at all. There's hardly anything in here bad. As a matter of fact, the naked ladies is like the worst part of the movie as far as I'm concerned, as far as letting youngsters watch it.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there was something else I wanted to ask you about this movie, but I can't think of it right now. But
if you think about it like this, Danny, when you watch it, imagine if you watched it from the vantage point of it being a black comedy. Do you think you would have thought of it any different? Because I was laughing through almost this entire movie.
There was a few funny parts, I will say that.
Like when he's running after his girlfriend, and he's got the brief or her suitcase, and he's like yelling at her, which is super not okay by today's standards. So it's hilarious that he's even doing that. And he's like, no, nah, bitch, you're not going anywhere. And she goes, I don't need it. And she lets go of the suitcase, and she runs off. And he's like, fine, stupid, blah blah blah. And then he's like, babe, come back. And you're like, oh my goodness, bro. It's just like, it's like a weird time capsule comedy to me. I don't know. I guess I definitely have a unique way of seeing this stuff, or if I didn't, I don't think I would like it as much. So,
and also, I don't know if you remember the ending of this movie, but he has like two girlfriends, right? Or one girlfriend with another. Well, anyways,
it's a very weird situation.
She goes back to her old husband, and he goes to their house, and he kills her husband, and like hides her behind the counter, or hides him behind the counter or whatever, and then he sneaks in her bed and pulls the covers over him, and then she walks in the room and was like, honey, I'm here, move over, and she gets in the bed, and then the movie ends. So what do you think happens after that?
You gotta wonder if the guys that made Revenge of the Nerds saw that. You remember Revenge of the Nerds?
Oh yeah.
Darth Vader comes in, he starts kissing the girl to go into the big jumping house, and he's like, gets it in with her. Yeah, no, I think that's a super not okay like scenario. Like, that's scarier than the whole movie. Like, that's so scary. Like, because think about it, in 2021, anything remotely taboo with like sex stuff like that, it's a very like hard look. People don't like that shit, man. They're very strict about it. They're very judgmental about it, when in fact it's just art, and people got to take things a little less seriously, man. Look, the world's fucked up. We already know that. But, dude, it is not that big a deal to put something like that in a movie in the 70s. Like, in the 70s, this shit was different, man. And am I saying that it's okay? Should we go back to the way things were in the 70s? No. But in the 70s, they were looking at it like, should we go back to the way things were in the 40s? Like, it progresses every year. As a matter of fact, we're getting so crazy now that it's kind of regressing. You're getting further and further split apart as a community and a culture, and it's just, that ending was crazy. That ending's like, oh shit.
They leave it up to you. You think he kills her or rapes her, or maybe even both?
I would imagine if I was the writer of that movie and they said you got 5 more minutes of screen time to come up with, I would have probably had him. There's 2 endings. There's the ending that I would have, and then there's the ending that the studio would want. The ending that I would have would be that he tries to get with her sexually. She figures out what's going on. She gets up. She humiliates him, and he kills her. Right? That's the ending that I would have. I wouldn't put rape in there because I don't like that stuff. I don't like sexual assault at all. It's not something I don't stomach it very well. Like, there's movies that I hardly ever watch because of stuff like that. I Spit on Your Grave is a movie that's a fantastic movie. I can barely watch that movie because it's so intense. But I would have it where he tries something, she figures it out, she gets up, she humiliates him, and then he kills her, and then he gets away scot-free. That's my ending, because that's a horror movie ending. That's a scary ending. what would happen if they gave him 5 more minutes of screen time is he would try to do it. She would see him, she'd catch him, she'd call the police, and somehow he'd get arrested or something. And that's the happy ending that they would give you, which is such a pussy way of doing it. But you know.
Yeah, that would be a good ending. I could see that happening.
Which one?
Or where she humiliates him and then he gets mad and kills her.
That makes sense to me. That feels like it would go along with his character and his plot. You know, and maybe he gets caught later on down the line or something, but that would definitely happen. It would definitely be a sour ending and a bleak ending, especially for that character, for her, since she seemingly got away, you know?
Yeah, and there's no happy ending for him because he's broke and he's a murderer.
Right?
It's going downhill for him.
Yeah, and if you do something like that to a lady and you go to prison, I'm sorry, dude. At least I've got quite a bit of experience with that world, and you'd probably get taken care of pretty quick in jail.
Yeah. Also, I wrote down a couple more movies that look interesting from this director. There's King of New York, came out in 1990, and it has Christopher Walken.
I've seen that one.
Oh yeah, so that's the same director. You'd like that one?
I had no idea. That's cool.
It's a good movie though.
Yes. Is that the one that's got Christopher Walken and Lawrence Fishburne in it?
I think so. That's
a good movie, dude. See, this is where my knowledge does come into play. Is I can remember stuff like that. I just can't remember things that I haven't seen. But I used to watch that movie like frequently. I had it on VHS.
I'll add that to watch list. And also there was Bad Lieutenant with what's that guy?
Bad Lieutenant?
Yeah, what's that guy's name? Harvey Keitel.
Wow.
I haven't seen that one either, but that one looks. He's like a corrupt.
Lieutenant. I've seen that one a lot of times, dude. Bad Lieutenant's a classic.
Okay. Yeah,
bro, I've seen so many movies that it's embarrassing.
If my research is right, then he did that one.
I think Josh was mentioning something, but I think I misunderstood what he said. That's why I was looking at the camera all funny. I think you're right. I think he did it. Hold on, I'm checking to see if I have something real quick. Let's see. Yep. I thought I did. I guess I don't. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's the King and... Oh, that's awesome.
I knew I had this movie.
I'll need to check it out.
Wow, that's crazy, bro. Dude, you just blew my mind. This is why I like talking with people, man. Like, not just my friends either, just anybody. I'll talk with just about anybody about horror movies because I like to learn stuff.
I'm pretty sure.
That's pretty awesome.
If Wikipedia is true, that's where I was looking.
Most of the time it is, but I've seen some crazy shit on Wikipedia that I know wasn't true. I like this cover because there's barely any writing on it, and you're like, wait, does that even say the movie title? But it's like in the middle of the text, yeah. King of New York, and it's got Christopher Walken up top, and then Larry Fishburne and David Caruso. Yo, I might be watching this tonight, dude.
Hell yeah, I need to check it out.
So okay, if you look at it from a black comedy perspective, does it give you any change to your opinion at all on it?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, it was actually pretty funny. Definitely more funny than scary.
Yeah,
and
right?
I could probably grow to like this movie again if I watch it again. Maybe I just wasn't in the right mood, or sometimes it takes me a couple watches. But
well, a lot of movies from like the 70s and early 80s for younger audiences take multiple viewings because they're so different than the movies we get now. Dude, even if they remade Driller Killer right now, it would be a completely different movie because you're allowed to do more stuff. Technology has gotten better by untold amounts. Like, you can't even comprehend the amount of technology that's gotten better. So I mean, you think about it, it doesn't surprise me that people that are younger than their I mean, I'm 39 and I still have movies that are in that age range where I'm like, I don't know, bro, it's kind of boring. Like, I just happen to really be a fan of horror stuff, so I give it all the, you know, what's it called? Like the benefit of the doubt as much as I possibly can. I'm like, it's okay because I make excuses for things a lot. But you give me a movie that won an award and it was made in the 60s or 70s, there's a pretty good chance I'm like, yeah, this shit's garbage because it's probably a pretty slow moving movie, and you know, but like I find a lot of Hitchcock stuff extremely boring, and all my friends are like, what?
Yeah, a lot of his stuff isn't the greatest, but a lot of it's fantastic. But yeah, this movie, it was pretty good for what it was. So
if you can take it with a grain of salt and you can look at it for what it is, and you can say that's pretty good for what it is, I think that's a pretty reasonable.
Yeah, and it's created by someone that likes the same stuff we like, and they put their heart and passion into it, so you can appreciate it.
You can never shit on a person for making a movie. Like, if we had the same budget, could we do better? I don't know, man. Maybe.
If he was our friend and he's like, check out this movie I just watched, we would see all the goodness about it and be like, yeah, that was awesome.
Right, for sure, for sure. Oh, and I just did on B Movie Monday, we did El Mariachi, and
that's a great
movie. The fact that movie was made on $7 grand budget is so insane that
and it made a huge profit.
Bro, not even that. Just the fact that that movie was made for less than $7,500 is so absolutely bananas to me because of how good it is. Like, I don't care about the money, man. I watched it and I was flabbergasted because I hadn't seen it in probably 15 years. And I was like, let's watch it. I got it on Blu-ray. Let's watch it. So we watched it. And by the end, I was just shaking my head. I was like, I cannot believe that movie was made for that little bit of money. Because, like, sure, the actors are no-name actors. Well, so are the people in most of the movies that I watch. And they suck. Like, they're not good actors. But they like doing it. So, like, I'm not going to hate on them. But, like, it was pretty incredible, man. So that's how I feel about these movies. Is I like to look at them from a different vantage point because I'm not Siskel and Ebert. I don't work for the Oscars or whatever. I don't have anything to do with that stuff, man. I don't care. Dude, no chance ever could my personality be that type. So I don't look at it like that. And I think a lot of people do, and that's okay. It's up to them how they want to look at stuff. I talk shit to people most of the time just out of sheer boredom and the fact that I like ribbing my friends. But I don't really take it personally or care if people don't like stuff.
Yeah, it's just entertainment, so not to be taken too seriously.
And here's how seriously I don't take it. What kind of grade did you give this movie on a scale of 1 to 10?
Well, on a personal rating, like my enjoyment, I'd probably give it like a 6.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, right about 6. Yeah, I'm not unrealistic about it. I understand that it wasn't the greatest movie as far as just objectively speaking, but I liked it, and I give most of my grades on sheer enjoyment level only. I don't ever think, unless it's something where it's like, again, I'll use Parasite as an example. I gave that one a 10 and a 10 or a 9, like a 9.5 and a 9.5. Like I was like, dude, on a personal level, I gave it this, and on like a, objective like statistical level, I gave it this as well because I think it does that on both levels, which is very rare. But generally speaking, when I grade a movie, it's solely based on did I like it and have a good time watching it, or did I not? Because, a movie as good as like The Exorcist, which I know is a great movie, I don't like it. It's fucking boring. But I know objectively how great that movie is. So it's one of those things where I had to separate it and go, okay, I'm going to grade things based on this and this alone because that's what I care about, That's not a bad grade to give it a 6, though. I think that's pretty respectable. I'm actually kind of surprised. I was thinking you were going to say 4.
Nah, I like it, and I definitely appreciate it, especially because that's one of his first movies, and it takes a lot of work to make a movie. Not that I would know, but I know it takes a lot of work. Right.
Well, it's also one of those things where, like, yeah, dude, I mean, his earlier work, I mean, the more it marinates, and the more you think about it, almost all the time, the more you'll appreciate something. Unless you initially actively didn't like it, then you might like it less even. But if you were kind of in the middle of the road, like, I don't really care, whatever, it was okay. The more you think about it, it's like a song that you hear on the radio and you're like, yeah, that was okay. And then you hear it 50 more times over the course of like 3 weeks or something because you're in your car a lot. You start to like the song. It's the same thing with movies, man. If you don't like it much, but you don't hate it, and you see it another time, or you talk about it a bunch, you start to really like it. It's the guy that made Nicholas Winding Refn. Is that his name? Wait.
Yeah. He made Drive.
He made? Which ones?
He made Drive. Neon
okay,
Demon.
I might be thinking about somebody else. Oh no, Paul Thomas Anderson.
I
can't stand his movies, right?
Oh, you can't? Oh,
okay. He's the worst, dude. I can't. Oh no. But my best friends do.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a fan for sure. Yeah.
I was expecting you to be, which is why I didn't say even more negative shit about it. But like, But I find myself wanting to watch this guy's movies because they always talk about him, and it's like,
I've seen you talk about him on Shopcast. I think you guys were talking Magnolia.
yeah,
So you didn't really care for that one?
that movie's terrible.
Oh.
But
it was way too convoluted and
well, yeah,
long,
and
in
that
my
was
opinion.
probably one of his worst ones, I would think, probably, right?
Yeah.
Did
I
he
would
do Boogie
say.
Nights?
Yeah.
Yeah,
did
that's
that
it. See,
one.
that's every director, no matter how much I don't like their general stuff they put out, has a movie I like, because I like Boogie Nights. He's probably got a couple that I actually do like. I just can't.
What
think of
about Punch Drunk Love? Did you see that?
I've only seen that like 3/4 of the way, and it was a long time ago. I was watching it when I was hanging out with a girl, so I didn't get much paying attention done. But
That was my favorite one. from
Josh
him.
really likes that one too, I think. No, he likes Spanglish. I can't remember, one or the other. But Punch Drunk Love, I like Adam Sandler a lot. I would watch it. I would watch it just to see him. I like his serious movies a lot.
Hell yeah.
The Safdie brothers are really good too. They really
Yes.
brought out his
Hell yeah.
they got his potential shining, didn't they?
Oh man, I'm keeping an eye out for them. Any movies they got.
Man, you and me both. I can't even decide. I can't get my wife to watch Uncut Gems with me because it's too stressful. She's like, I don't want to watch it. Then I'm not gonna be able to sleep. I'm like, that's good. That's a good point. Like, I can't argue that.
Yeah. I think I like
how's
Good
your wife
Time.
feeling?
How's my wife feeling?
Yeah, she's doing okay.
Yeah, man. The baby's due in November, so she's
That's awesome.
getting bigger every day.
That's dope, man.
But she's doing good. Yep. Thank you. But
Well,
Yeah,
you
man.
have anything else you want to touch on before we start talking about the other
I
movie?
think I said everything I need to say about the Driller Killer. I will say to anyone watching, do check it out though. I do recommend you watch it, form your own opinion, and leave a comment so we can read it and we'll see how you guys
Absolutely.
feel.
I think that with a lot of these like lower grade, quote unquote, B movies, I think that they're important for people to watch because you can learn a lot about filmmaking.
Yeah.
If you take it as an example, Evil Dead is a de facto B movie. It is a budget film. Bruce Campbell was not famous when that was made. They didn't have money. And when that was made, Steadicam existed. And one of the more popular things about that movie that's pretty well known is that when they were running through the forest, instead of having a Steadicam, they had a camera attached to two 2x4s, and two guys were running through the woods with it to make it look like a Steadicam. And it worked. It's like stuff like that if you watch these movies and then you go back and you listen to the director's commentary or you watch the special features or you talk to somebody like Danny or I that watches this stuff a lot, you'll learn about these movies and you'll just get to learn about filmmaking. And if you really care about movies, then you got to care about filmmaking to a degree. So that's why I would say watch it. And I think that's kind of what you were saying, maybe?
Yeah, and you'll appreciate it more because it's
Absolutely.
easy to look at a movie and go, that was shit. But if you actually think about it and get some information about it, you might like it a little more.
I got shelled on YouTube the other day because, as well as creating, I watch a lot of YouTube. That's pretty much what I watch if it's not a movie. And I was watching Drum Dums. So shout out to Drum Dums if anybody's out there watching that knows him. He's awesome. But he was talking about Black Widow, and I don't watch big budget movies like that anymore. I'm pretty much over that stuff. But I was contemplating watching that one. And he was like, it's hot garbage. And I was like, oh, man. And then he was talking about Endgame and Infinity War and how those were good Marvel movies. And I was just like, I don't know, man. Those movies sucked. And dude, people were shocked. And I had a couple of guys that were like, oh, he's just trying to get people, I was like, no, I wasn't. That's why I didn't say anything else. But no, I don't. And even Drum Dums was like, bro, you really didn't like those? I was like, no, I really didn't, man. They're not really for me. But admittedly, I like that kids got to go watch their stuff that they love. Sit in the seats and watch it. I'm all about that. I just don't have to go see it, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I'm just kind of over Marvel. I mean, I did watch Black Widow, but it's all the same. It was decent. I think I gave it like 3 stars or 2.5. But it's just a typical Marvel movie. If you like those movies, you'll like it, I guess.
I can't for the life of me figure out why everybody thought Captain Marvel was so good.
I haven't seen that one.
I would love to hear what you have to say about it, because if you really like it, I probably won't talk much about it because I just didn't think it was very good.
I don't think I'll like
it.
That. Yeah, I don't really care for Brie Larson, but whatever.
Me either. And I think that's probably most of the issue I had. And the thing is, when I first saw her, she started coming around, I thought she was so pretty. and I was like, man, she's hot, man. And then she started talking, and I was like, oof, please stop. There's a few actors and actresses like that, but
yeah,
I digress. Let's not talk about that right now. Let's end this episode. Thank you for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video, man. Go check out Driller Killer, dude. It is a 70s B horror movie. If you like that kind of thing, you're bound to like this movie. If you don't like it, dude, get drunk and watch with some friends. You'll have a good time. But yeah, thank you for your time, folks. Take care of yourselves and be kind to everyone else. We'll see you next time with Horror Hangout. All right.